Tyson suffered a hairline fracture of his right hand following an early morning street fight with his former opponent, Mitch Blood Green. The fight, which took place in Harlem, put Tyson's arm into a cast and could prevent the heavyweight from defending his championship against Frank Bruno in London in October. Tyson said he was shopping in Harlem with San Antonio Spurs forward Walter Berry when he was attacked by Green. However, Green says it didn't happen that way, and he has pressed charges against Tyson. Tyson beat Green in a 1986 non-title bout. Now he's beat him again. Smacked him one time. Green had to have 5 stitches to close the wound. Military records released by the Pentagon and Republican vice presidential nominee Dan Quayle's office support his contention the Indiana National Guard did in fact have vacancies when he enlisted. However, several newspapers reported Indiana Guard records show it was filled beyond capacity when Quayle enlisted. Vice President Bush plans to meet privately with President Reagan in Los Angeles today to discuss election strategy. They also will make a joint appearance at a pep rally, their first appearance together since the Republican convention. The president gave an emphatic no when asked whether nominee Dan Quayle should be dumped from the ticket. Asked why not, Mr. Reagan replied, because he's a fine man and well qualified. Sports and weather coming up for you in just a minute, but first this at 5:33.
I come home from the golf course and find a chill in the air. I say, good evening, Martha, and I get this icy stare. Uh-oh, what have I done? Then it all comes back to me. Today is our 40th wedding anniversary. Let me see, I'll need jewelry. Will I be able to reserve a table? Yeah, and she'll want to go to a show. Gotta get some flowers. This'll take hours.
Yes, NEC Yellow Pages is what you need, that's all.
For everything you're looking for,
It's where you find it all.
The original Yellow Pages from SNET. For more than 110 years, we've been Connecticut's most complete directory for just about everything you need to live your life.
Martha was a vision. Romance was in the air. After 40 years of marriage, the spark of love's still there.
Yes, NEC Yellow Pages is what you need, that's all. SNET. We are beyond the call.
WNBC Sports, the Yankees won and Detroit lost. The Yanks beat Oakland at the stadium last night 5-4, while the Tigers were losing to Minnesota for a second straight time, 7-5 in 10 innings. Boston won as well, beating California 10-2. So that leaves Detroit on top with Boston 2 back, the Yankees 5 back. The Mets down to Los Angeles 5-1. Pittsburgh shut out Cincinnati 2-1. The Mets are 4.5 up on the Pirates. Today, Oakland is at Yankee Stadium again, a 1 o'clock start if the weather permits. And the Mets play in Dodger Stadium again late tonight. Right now, the WNBC weather, periods of rain, some of it heavy, possibly a thunderstorm. The high in the mid-70s is all. Tonight, cloudy, a 30% chance of showers, the low in the low to mid-60s. Partly cloudy tomorrow, low 80s. Friday, partly cloudy and mild. It is 63 degrees and raining all around the area and heavily in locations right now. And at 5:35, that's what's happening. I'm Charles McCord, WNBC New York.
high-tech software company started operations and turned to a copy for smart choice leases on typewriters, a fax machine, and a Canon copier. Now, with me is Carolyn Cusano. Carolyn, I'm sure price performance was an important factor.
I had visited 4 other copy places, and the machines were all in about the same price range, but the Canon copier was the most sophisticated.
So the choice was Canon, but why did you further choose to lease Canon from a copy?
I was able to call references, and everybody was impressed with the service that they received from a copy.
A year has gone by. Has reality lived up to expectations?
Once a problem is reported, we call out the service people, and they come out right away.
Call A Copy for your Canon copier demonstration and details on the A Copy Smart Choice lease program.
A-Copy America.
Canon from A Copy.
A Copy, an Alco Standard Company, the 13th ranked service company on the Fortune 500. Simply look in the white pages and call the A Copy office nearest you. A Copy.
Following limited offer is based on Gal's book value for selected and showroom vehicles. Maximum allowance is based on make, model, equipment, condition, and mileage with automatic transmission and air conditioning.
They're throwing away the book. That's right, friends. They're throwing the books away on every trade-in ticket this week. Up to $8,000 for your trade this week. $8,000. Where can you get this deal? There's only one place. That's Gateway Toyota, Route 37 in Toms River, New Jersey. Area code 201-240-2000. Gateway's throwing away the book for your 87 trade-in. Up to $7,000 for your 86 trade, or even $6,000 for your 85 trade. And even if you got an old clunker, Gateway will give you up to $3,000 for it when you buy your new Toyota. It's a buyer's market, and Gateway knows they've got to motivate you, so they're making this $8,000 trade offer only through Saturday. Remember, there's only one dealer who makes this $8,000 trade offer. That's the number 1 volume dealer in the United States. Gateway Toyota, Route 37, Toms River, New Jersey. Remember, it's a buyer's market. Don't miss this $8,000 trade offer, friends.
Herman's, we are sports. We got your number if you're into sports. We're all sports. Herman's, we are sports.
If the back-to-school season means new sports shoes for yourself or the kids, Herman's Shoe Marathon Sale is happening right now when you need it most. This year's Shoe Marathon Sale has more brands, more styles, more savings than ever before. Speaking of brands, Reebok, the shoes that let you be you, are a big part of our Shoe Marathon event. You'll save $7 to $10 on some of our best-selling Reebok sports shoes. If you've switched to walking, the Reebok RPW walking shoe for men and women, usually $54.99, is now $47.99. The RPW combines flexibility and support in one great-looking leather shoe. Where else but Herman's Shoe Marathon can you find Reebok sports shoes at prices like this? So whether you walk or run, play tennis or basketball, work out at the gym, or just want a comfortable pair of shoes for the weekend, Reeboks let you be you and are now on sale during Herman's Shoe Marathon.
I'd like to welcome now to the Imus-8 morning program, most prominent independent black film producer, Cecil B. the Man. Good morning,
in the
Cecil.
free world, the most prominent independent black producer in the free world and parts of communist China.
Uh-huh.
How you doing this morning, Mr. Imus?
Fine, Cecil.
I'm on another promotional tour.
I imagine you are.
You know, that's the only reason I come see your ass. The only reason I come here, look at your little skinny white ass and try to promote some motion pictures.
Fine.
I got 4 big time.
Oh, you do?
Big time motion pictures. I got a movie about this famous country western singer turned detective turned novelist who go berserk on a waitress in a Mexican restaurant. It's called Fork Your Eye Only. Starring Warren Oates, Warren Beatty, Ned Beatty, Betty Hutton, Timothy Dalton, and Ernest Borgnine as the fat cook with the hair on his back.
The fat cook with the hair on his back?
Yeah. Very important role. You know, supporter, but, you know, I'm talking Academy Award nominee. I got a movie about the only surviving member of a famous Motown soul group and his secret sordid sex life. It's called The Last Temptation of the Last Temptation. Starring Carl Weathers, Carl Lewis, Louis Gossett Jr., Sammy Davis Jr., Angela Davis, and Ernest Borgnine as the fat record company executive with the hair on his back. I got a comedy about an overweight stand-up comedian and his long-suffering wife.
Right.
It's called Married to the Blob. Starring Buddy Hackett, Freddie Roman, Jackie Gleason, Louis Anderson, Tubby Boots, and Ernest Borgnine as Rob Bartlett. Then there's the jewel in my motion picture crown, Mr. Imus. The very exciting story about a successful DJ who gets sold like a slave to an all-sports radio network. It's called Good Morning FAM. See the king of the early airwaves, Don Imus, take the sports world by storm. See him interview phony sports personalities. See him answer the damn phone. See him take on the entire listening audience at 10:50 and charm them both.
In the morning, 66 WNBC.
It's 5:44, 16 to 6. I'm Jim Kerr and the Power 95 gang picked a great time to broadcast from Radio City Music Hall with a Christmas. I think Kerr's sitting there in a Santa Claus suit, isn't he? Do we have one of those remote mics I can go down there with? I'm going to wait till it stops raining. I was still talking to Rita. Go ahead on, baby.
Don't know what you do, but you must be living right.
NBC.
Yeah! Oh, we got some places to see. That I'm a man of me. Jump in, ain't a sin. Take a ride in my machine. City traffic moving way too slow. Try to pedal and go. Go! Go! We are riding on the freeway. Oh, no, we can't stop that. We are riding on the freeway. Oh, no, in the pink Cadillac. We are riding on the freeway. Oh, no, we can't stop that. Yeah, we're riding on the freeway. Oh, no, in the pink Cadillac. Will you mind the exercise? We got lots of time. We can't quit till we get to the other side. Aha, aha. With the radio playing a song, we keep rolling along. Who knows how far I can get before you think about slowing down, yeah. City traffic moving way too slow. Try to pedal and go. Go now, go. We are riding on the freeway. Oh no, we can't stop that. We going riding on the freeway. Oh no, in my pink Cadillac. We going riding on the freeway. Oh no, we can't stop it. Yeah, we're riding on the freeway. Oh no, in my pink Cadillac. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So drop the top, baby. Let's cruise on into this better than ever street. City traffic moving way too slow. Drop the pedal and go. Go, baby. Go, do it for me now. We going riding on the freeway. Oh no, we can't stop that. We going riding on the freeway. Oh no, in the pink Cadillac. We going riding on the freeway. Oh no, we can't stop that.
WNBC is 5:48, 12 minutes till 6 o'clock. I'm right on top of things here. WNBC weather. I'm Imus in the morning, by the way, in case you didn't recognize my voice. I realize you were over here at the AM dial. Some rain, and it's heavy, and it is now. And there's some fat goon parked in a limo outside the studio here this morning. So we pulled up behind him and honked the horn, thought he might pull up so I could get out, you know. So he wouldn't pull up, so I banged on his window. Said some ugly things to him. I'd ready to punch him out.
That's right.
We're going to sports training yesterday. Don't mess with me. I didn't have Ken and Bubba with me, though. I had Brant. Although Brant would jump ugly with people.
That's great.
Brant's in some karate and stuff. Anyway, the guy wouldn't move.
So what'd you do?
Well, I called him with some ugly names. Just like Mike Tyson and Mitch Green.
Right.
Did you hear about Mike Tyson? Yeah. Okay. 4 o'clock in the morning, there's a Dapper Dan's Boutique up on 125th Street in Harlem and buying clothes. Because I guess he couldn't get a hold of Bob Davis over Saks or something. The guys at Barney's weren't there. Unbelievable. And Mitch Green shows up. Mitch Green's the guy. Mitch Green was the guy that arrested at a gas station out in Jersey, right?
That's right.
What did he do? Pull in and bought some gas and then he just left or something?
Something like that. Details are sketchy. We're going to look into it.
I thought, wasn't it the deal where he took over the gas station? That was somebody else. I thought Mitch took over the gas station and was selling gas to people. I don't know. Anyway, Mitch and Mike Tyson fought a couple of years ago, and so Mitch shows up at the boutique, Tapper Dan's, at 4 in the morning, yesterday morning, and Tyson punched him. That's essentially the story. But we may talk. Mitch Green may come in here later this morning. We don't know. We had Don King on yesterday, as you remember. He claims, if you can believe this, Mitch Green claims that Don King owes him some money. Can you believe that? I'm glad I got it straight on that trip I'm taking out to Las Vegas. I don't have to pay for anything, right? Is that the deal? We heard King say that, right?
We have it on tape.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get out there and have somebody, try to hassle me for my American Express card. I don't need that. Anyway, rain heavy at times, and maybe a thunderstorm today. It's raining now, at least in Manhattan. High in the mid-70s at 63 now. Yeah.
So far this year, luxury car buyers have bought more 1988 Cadillacs than any other luxury automobile. More Cadillacs than Lincoln or Mercedes or any luxury marque, domestic or foreign. And for luxury buyers who've waited till the very end of the model year, there's no reason to wait any longer. Because now through August 31st, 1988, Cadillacs are even better values than before. Now they come with a bonus check of up to $1,500 direct from Cadillac.
I'll never give up my Cadillac.
If you buy a Brougham or a Seville, you'll get back a factory bonus of $1,500. $1,000 back on Eldorados, Fleetwoods, and DeVilles. But you must take delivery from dealer stock by August 31st, 1988. So don't wait. For details and for the year's best-selling luxury cars, see your Cadillac Tri-Statesman now.
I'll never give up my Cadillac.
And now today's headlines. After years of failed explorations, ground was broken today to build the first human colony on Mars. Meanwhile, scientists at the International Health Center have discovered a cure for rhinoviroses, otherwise known as the common cold. And finally, due to popular demand, Virgin Atlantic Airways has enlarged their upper-class service to London by 60%. 60%? Ladies and gentlemen, I repeat, Virgin Atlantic has enlarged their upper class. What a great day!
Virgin Atlantic Airways is pleased to announce that we've enlarged the size of our upper-class service from New York to London by 60%. So now more people can enjoy our chauffeured sedan service, roomy sleeper seats, and of course our complimentary economy class ticket. We thought you might find this of interest.
Here is history in the making.
For reservations, call your travel agent or Virgin Atlantic Airways and take us for all we've got. Now, look.
You're the president. You're as much a part of the decision as MIS. If you just give me 1 minute, I think
Just walk with me.
You've said we have what it takes to run your business more efficiently.
Good morning, John.
But you're not ready to make a major investment on a huge system.
That's right.
Mr. Wagner, the meeting's about.
I'll be right there.
Wang just came out with a desktop mini computer, the VS5000. Thousands of applications, twice the CPU power of the DEC Microvax 2000, 3 times IBM's AS400B10.
In English?
With this kind of power and this lower price, you could afford to automate your branch offices.
Oh, what happens to what I've got?
No problem. The VS5000 is compatible with your other DP systems. And it'll give you an inexpensive entry into Wang's image processing.
Image processing?
It's the newest business technology. Customer letters, supply invoices, contracts, they can all be pulled up on a screen. Think what it'll do for customer service.
Terry, bring this woman back up to MIS. Tell him I sent her.
Introducing Wang's VS5000. It's the affordable solution. Call 1-800-522-WANG. See how Wang makes it work for you.
Coming up at 5:54, 6:06 on this in the morning. NBC. 5:58, 2 minutes till 6. WNBC weather, rain, heavy at times, maybe a thunderstorm, high to mid-70s, 63 now in New York.
There's a new Eagle on the move. The 1989 Eagle Medallion. At your Jeep Eagle dealers now. Never before has Eagle's kind of European technology been available at a price this low. Eagle Medallion. Only $10,830 for a superb new car with more passenger room than Chevy Celebrity. Priced hundreds of dollars below the lowest priced Honda Accord. Eagle Medallion now joins Eagle Premier. Eagle Premier. It's world-class engineering and quality, shaped into the sleekest sedan built on this side of the Atlantic. Only $13,529, including an optional V6 engine. All prices MSRP, excluding title and taxes. EPA volume indexes and printed competitive material used for comparisons. And for a limited time only, Eagle Premier comes with a $600 cash bonus. See your dealer for details. Eagle Medallion. Eagle Premier. Who says high tech has to mean high prices? Not Jeep Eagle.
So you try to say Jeep Eagle dealer for details on a limited time, $1,000 cashback offer on the new Eagle Medallion. Don't sound like I'm too sure about that. WNBC News is sponsored by McDonald's.
You're working overtime, you're working double time. You've got to be on time, you just don't have the time.
For breakfast, your time's in much demand.
But there's always time for breakfast if you take it by the hand.
Whoa, whoa.
Good time after time,
Day after day.
great taste at McDonald's around the way.
Breakfast at our morning place.
The good time, great taste of McDonald's.
Brush and brush with nothing beats an egg McMuffin.
Homemade biscuits or something.
McDonald's keeps it coming. Good time, great taste, beat the clock.
We'll help you save time so you can keep pace and take your own sweet time. At our morning place, the good time, great taste
Of McDonald's.
One more time, the good time, great taste
Of McDonald's.
This is news from 66 WNBC, New York.
I'm Charles McCord. Here's what's happening at 6 o'clock. A New York City police officer is in serious condition this morning after a shootout last night in Brooklyn. The 25-year-old female officer, whose name has not been released as yet, was shot in the abdomen and hip. She's stable in Brookdale Hospital. Apparently, she and her partner happened across a robbery in progress in the East New York section, and the shooting started immediately. There were a couple of robbers, and one of them was shot dead. No identification on him either at this point, and the other bandit is being sought. 3 men were hurt in a series of shootings on the north side of Hartford last night. 52-year-old Ozzie Stallworth started shooting at a van outside a liquor store, hitting one of its occupants. Then somebody else got out of the van with a shotgun and fired back, and then they took off. Stallworth jumped in the car, drove off, chased by 3 plainclothes detectives. A couple of blocks later, there was a gunfight with the cops and Stallworth hit. One of the detectives was cut by flying glass. In Waterbury, police say a baby girl is safe in her mother's arms after a brief abduction.
The baby was in the back seat of her mother's car when the car was stolen from a shopping plaza parking lot. A few hours later, police found the car and the suspected abductor who had fled, leaving the unharmed child in the back seat. Police gave chase and nabbed 45-year-old Eugene Cuddy. Jim Iyer, WNBC News.
A crowd of angry people set upon another driver in Manhattan, smashing out the windows of his car after the vehicle had hit a 3-year-old child who suddenly darted into a crosswalk between parked automobiles. Incident last night marked the second time this week that enraged New Yorkers jumped a driver whose vehicle had struck a child. However, in last night's incident, no charges were filed against the driver, who managed to escape the crowd. No charges beyond driving with a suspended license because police said really he had done nothing wrong. The child simply darted out into his path. The earlier incident, you may recall, in which an angry crowd dragged a driver from his van and beat him severely, occurred after he had struck and killed a baby who was being pushed in a stroller by her mother, and the charges against that motorist included driving drunk. Politics, both here and overseas.
A big GOP powwow today in California, the president and the vice president. Mr. Reagan appeared at a Republican fundraiser last night in Irvine, California, on behalf of Senator Pete Wilson. George Bush says he will ignore what he calls ugly, hurtful stories about his vice presidential running mate, Dan Quayle. Democratic presidential candidate Michael Dukakis came down hard on George Bush last night for what he called the flexible freeze budget trimming plan, calling it the son of voodoo economics. Dukakis responded to a recent Reagan comment that the Democratic team is made up of third stringers.
Well, I think it'll be the American people who decide who belongs in the major leagues and who belongs in the Bush leagues. I think it's going to be Dukakis and Benson in the major leagues.
Ben Quayle opens a solo campaign swing today. First stop, St. Louis. The government of Poland has not ruled out declaring a state of emergency in some provinces hit by pro-solidarity strike.
Rain could be heavy at times, windy and chilly, the high only about 70. Thursday, rain likely, windy and chilly. Much needed rain, we might add. It is 61 degrees right now at 5:35, and that's what's happening. I'm Charles McCord, WNBC New York.
Just when I believed I couldn't ever want for more, this ever-changing world pushes me through another door. I saw you smile, and my mind could not erase the beauty of your face. Just for a while, won't you let me shelter you? Hold on to the night. Hold on to the I wish that I could give you something more, that I could be
WNBC is 5:39, 21 till 6. I'm Mr. Morning. WNBC weather. Charles said partly sunny this morning. Been clouding up today, high to mid-70s tonight. Cloudy and cool with a 50% chance of rain. You know what I'm saying? Low in the low 60s. It's 61 right now in New York.
Now, look, you're the president. You're as much a part of the decision as MIS. If you just give me 1 minute, I think
Just walk with me.
You've said we have what it takes to run your business more efficiently.
Good morning, John.
But you're not ready to make a major investment on a huge system.
That's right. Mr. Wagner, yeah, meeting's about this time. I'll be right there.
Wang just came out with a desktop mini computer, the VS5000. Thousands of applications, twice the CPU power of the DEC Microvax 2000, 3 times IBM's AS400B10.
In English?
With this kind of power and this lower price, you could afford to automate your branch offices.
Well, what happens to what I've got?
No problem. The VS5000 is compatible with your other DP systems. And it'll give you an inexpensive entry into Wang's image processing.
Image processing?
It's the newest business technology. Customer letters, supply invoices, contracts, they can all be pulled up on a screen. Think what it'll do for customer service.
Terry, bring this woman back up to MIS. Tell him I sent her.
Introducing Wang's VS5000. It's the affordable solution. Call 1-800-522-WANG. See how Wang makes it work for you.
We'll keep this message short and sweet. Put your money in a Long Island Savings Bank bonus CD for a short 15 months and get a sweet 8.50% yield for the first year with an annual rate of 7.36%. To earn this high yield at most other banks, you'd have to tie up your money for 2 to 5 years. Only Long Island Savings gives it to you this short and sweet. You get this great yield because they've added cash bonuses, as much as $800. So if you're looking for the best CD deal in town, look to Long Island Savings 15-month bonus CD. The 8.50% yield is for deposits of $50,000 or more. Smaller deposits also earn top yields. Why settle for less? Call Long Island Savings today at 1-800-THE-LISB. That's 1-800-THE-LISB. Or stop by one of their more than 50 branches. Substantial penalties for early withdrawal. First-year annual yield assumes no withdrawal of interest or principal and deposit and cash bonus. Member FSLIC.
The following commercial contains dangerous sound effects. The announcer is a highly trained professional. Please do not attempt anything like this at home while driving a car or if under the age of consent.
There goes another one. And another. It's happening all over Long Island. Look out, Massapequa. Watch it, Patchogue. It's your Long Island good olds, guys. They're making spectacular end-of-year clearance deals during Oldsmobile's Lightning Strikes Again sale. Oop, just missed it. There goes Breakneck, and there goes another Cutlass Supreme with V6 power and free air conditioning. There's a Sierra wagon in Riverhead. There goes a Calais in Huntington Station. Look, electrifying stunts like this won't last forever. Really? Hustle in out of the heat into your Long Island good olds, guys. Look for the Lightning Bolt and for a great deal on a new Oldsmobile. Who said lightning doesn't strike twice in the same...
Well, we have a couple of musical guests on the Imus-8 morning program this morning. Author Kinky Friedman and former Beatle George Harrison. Good morning, George.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, good morning, Don.
What's the matter?
Good morning, Kinky. Great book, by the way, about the bloody cat.
You like his new book, The Cat's Away?
Oh, it's great.
When The Cat's Away?
I didn't read it.
I did.
I'm going to wait for the bloody movie.
Okay.
I don't read much.
I know. So, what's up?
I'm cheesed off.
Oh, what's wrong?
I'm bloody outraged. I'm disgusted and disappointed, Don. People magazine has had John Lennon's picture on the cover for the past 2 weeks.
Well?
Promoting that bloody Albert Goldman book.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney's got a book written about it by Chet Flippo. And both bloody books are all about how bloody disgusting they were. The books tell all sorts of bloody terrible things about them. How John was a heroin addict and walked around in the Dakota naked. And how Paul loved young Negro girls. I'm bloody outraged.
Well, are the things true?
Of course they're true.
Oh, they are?
That's not why I'm bloody outraged.
Well, why are you?
Why doesn't anyone write a book about me?
Oh, because you're...
Do I have to marry a Jap and get shot in my living room to get my picture on the bloody cover of People magazine?
Oh, wait a minute.
It's not fair.
George.
I'm a bloody musical genius.
Yeah.
But no, John and Paul, John and Paul, John and Paul, John and Paul. Ringo gets more press than I do. And you could stuff a small Puerto Rican family up his bloody nose. Let me tell you something, Don. Those books don't even scratch the surface.
Mm-hmm.
John used to shoot heroin and then jump on Yoko screaming, "Take this f***ing torpedo, you bloody nip bastard." Paul used to dress up like Eleanor Roosevelt and French kiss sailors. The two of them were bloody sick. I'll tell you right now, I'm going to write a bloody book. If Kinky can write one, I can write one. I'll tell all about how John used to play guitar with his bloody wanker so he could play bar chords. How Ringo once inhaled a Buick. How Paul had an affair with Diana Ross. No, wait, Elvis. That's it. Paul had an affair with Elvis. How Mick Jagger once had his lips stuck to a hotel wall, and they had to have him removed with a bloody crowbar.
All right.
I'll write a book about everybody.
George Harrison.
They'll bloody see.
Fine.
I'll make a
$15 million on it. George Harrison here on the Imus in the Morning program. WNBC. The Beatles, Paul McCartney has been in that group. It's 5:48, 12 minutes till 6. I'm Imus in the Morning.
Now, I'm aware that a lot of folks think A-Copy is only for the big boys, but if you're a new business, a startup, or perhaps even expanding, leasing Canon copiers from A-Copy is the smart choice. A year ago, Silk Technologies, that's spelled S-I-L-C, a high-tech software company, started operations and began leasing a Canon copier from A-Copy. This is Carolyn Cusano.
Well, certainly when you first start out, your cash flow is pretty tight. Our cash flow would have even been more tight if we weren't able to lease.
But by leasing your Canon copier from A-Copy, you've got preserved cash flow, potential tax benefits, simplified record keeping, and when your Canon copier needs change,
we can trade the copy machine in and go continue on with this lease or add to it.
Canon copiers and the A-Copy Smart Choice Lease Program.
It really was a pretty simple process.
Call for details. Canon from A-Copy. A-Copy, an Elko Standard company with offices throughout the Northeast. Simply look in the white pages for the A-Copy office nearest you. Call A-Copy.
Lubin's of Westchester, 40 years young and still exciting. In our boys and young men's department, sense the excitement as you view our newly expanded collections of junior, prep, husky, and stout suits and sport coats by prestigious designers, including Forenza and Polo. We at Lubin's have tripled the size of our student suit and sport coat department, offering a tremendous selection of the newest styles from eminent designers like Jonathan Matthews and Gant in sizes 35 to 42, regular shorts and longs. In addition, Lubin's enlarged furnishings and sportswear collections will complement his wardrobe. And of course, Lubin's expert tailors will not let him wear his selections unless they fit him perfectly. As you have become accustomed to expect, shopping at Lubin's is a most unique and pleasurable experience, and now much more comfortable. Lubin's, Yonkers Cross County Shopping Center, where there's always plenty of free parking. Open Monday through Friday from 10 to 9:30, Saturday from 10 to 7, and Sunday noon till 5. Lubin's and all major credit cards accepted.
Hot dog, hamburger. Wow, Hell's Kitchen? I think it's a new Tex-Mex restaurant in the village. Yeah.
59th Street Bridge. You mean that song by Simon and Garfunkel?
The Pan Am Building. It's out at LaGuardia Airport. I think it's right next to TWA.
It's amazing how little most people in New York know about the city, whether they've been here for 2 days or 20 years. That's because we all look at New York one building at a time, one neighborhood at a time. The only way you can see all of the city is to circle it on a Circle Line cruise. On the Circle Line, you can see more of New York in just 3 hours than most people will see in their entire lives.
Circle Line? That's over on the west side. Yeah, it's next to the Javits Air Museum.
Circle Line, the difference between looking at New York and seeing it. Pier 83 at the west end of 43rd Street. Circle Line.
Everybody say, baby! Baby! Help me! There ain't no reason, 'cause I got my happy Jesus right on the dashboard of my heart. I will go 100 miles an hour, on the top of your mighty power, through the pair of my pair of fuzzy eyes. Say hallelujah! Oh, yeah, say hallelujah! Hi, friends, it's the right Reverend Dr. Billy Saw Harkis. All right. Praise Jesus, praise God. Friends, just a quick message this morning to announce my new venture into the exciting world of Hollywood. A world many among you might find unattractively secular for an evangelist of my stature to be entering. But hey, babe, this is the evangelism of the 80s. Bucks are us. We're chasing dollars, dearly beloved, and whatever the path might lead and way off. So that's why I'm so divinely proud to announce to y'all today from Worship World's new adult films division, Touch This, our brand new, somewhat controversial release, The Last Temptation of Hargis, It Ain't No Dream. You heard it right, The Last Temptation of Hargis, depicting the life story of yours truly, every ugly episode, every wart, every scar and runny sore.
And believe me, as most of you know, I'm damn close to being just a walking, talking sheet of moral scar tissue. Why, if I was to go to confession in one of them fish and chip churches, they'd have to run them priests in on me in shifts. I'd be talking to one of them boys till his dress went out of style, and I'd be eating so many of them little old wafers they'd have to cater the damn thing. You kind of get where I'm coming from here. The old doctor has had a rough road, praise God. I have been on that midnight train to Georgia. I've had more temptations than a queer watching a men's room toe-touching contest. So if you think this Martin Scorsese touched off a commotion with the last temptation of Christ, wait till you see the last temptation of Hargis at Ain't No Dream. Co-starring Jimmy Swaggart is his cell. Jim Baker is his cell. And Renee Richards is the Virgin Harry. Now, I can't reveal any of the plot, but I can give you a hint in the form of this here rhyme and riddle. You ready? The last temptation of Hargis, it was just last week with a greased-up collie and a sideshow freak. And a fat-leg lady with a overactive gland. She was only a carpenter's daughter, but she made my banana stand. Say hallelujah, say, call Ticketron. Speaking of banana stand, here's Redbone. NBC. It's coming up on 5:58, 2 minutes till 6 o'clock. I'm Mr. Bonnie, the Corky Lang Band with Many huge guest surprises. Our guest artist surprises are going to be over to Lone Star Cafe Roadhouse, which is on 52nd Street, just east of Broadway. West of Broadway. Thursday night. It would be something you would not want to miss. WNBC weather, sunny and this morning in Clyde, this afternoon, high to mid-70s, 61 now in New York.
Come down to Florida, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby is where I'll be.
Come down to Florida, where the going's great this fall. Buy your tickets by August 26th, and you can go for just $69 each way in coach to any one of 9 fun-filled Florida cities, like Orlando, Miami, or Tampa, St. Pete. Begin flying September 11th. All travel must be completed by December 15th. Tickets are non-refundable, and this fare is not available every day or on every flight. Other important restrictions apply, but the rest is easy. The swimming, the sailing, the fun, and the sun. So call your travel agent or Eastern before the great going's gone.
For 5:59, minute till 6, WNBC News, sponsored by AMCO.
Claude Akins for AMCO.
Fully half the foreign cars that AMCO dealers service wind up not needing a new transmission. Is that luck? No way. That's skill. It's knowing what to look for, because a lot of small problems can look and sound just like big ones. AMCO puts your foreign car transmission through a complete diagnostic checkup. Whatever the problem is, big or small, they'll find it. After all, they've had plenty of practice. AMCO dealers have serviced more foreign transmissions than any other transmission specialist in North America. In fact, to find a place where they've fixed more foreign car transmissions than AMCO, you'd probably have to send your car overseas. And let me tell you something, they don't offer towing.
AMCO, AA, MCO.
Hey, check this out. Do you have an extended warranty on your new or used car? AMCO will honor that warranty in most cases. Check your white pages for the center nearest you. It's better than fixed. It's AMCO.
This is news from 66 WNBC, New York.
I'm Charles McCord. Here's what's happening at 6 o'clock. Authorities say they expect to have all remnants of a propane leak episode cleaned up within the hour in Lloyd Harbor, Long Island, where several families in that affluent section of Huntington had to be evacuated for a time after an accident occurred during a propane delivery late yesterday. The driver of a propane tanker truck, 37-year-old Frank Arthur of Patchogue, was badly burned when a hose split as he was filling tanks used to heat the swimming pool of his customer. The gas ignited, caught his clothing on fire. Arthur jumped into the pool in order to put out the flames, but he was critically burned nevertheless. 9 other fire departments then responded to assist at the scene to get the leak controlled. It took all night long, and as we said, the situation is expected to be completely cleaned up shortly. No arson in that club fire in the Bronx. Investigators say they've changed their minds about the cause despite the rapid spread of the flames. Be that as it may, the mayor wants the police commissioner to consider criminal charges against the owners of the club, even though he says the deterrent effect might be marginal.
There's no way of preventing it. Not at all. I mean, how do you prevent people from committing crimes? When you catch them, you punish them with very stiff sentences, and you hope it's a deterrent to others who will be motivated not to commit crimes. But you can't stop people from committing crimes. You can punish them after they've committed crimes.
In this case, Koch wants the people who ran the illegal club to be charged with murder, if possible. If police can get 2 convictions stemming from illegal activity at a public place in a year's time, they can close the place. Police have been to the illegal Bronx club a half dozen times this year, but have been unable to get the needed arrests and convictions. A state task force says there are hundreds of such illegal clubs all over the city's poor neighborhoods, and they're centers for prostitution, gambling, drugs, and trafficking and stolen property. Senator Al D'Amato says George Bush should keep Dan Quayle on the ticket. New York's junior senator thinks people are making too much of the National Guard thing, noting hundreds of people did exactly the same. The figure is more likely, in fact, in the thousands. D'Amato believes it would be a good idea for Quayle to have a news conference and candidly and openly answer any and all questions about his military service. In a sense, that's what Quayle was doing in Chicago last night.
Republican vice presidential candidate Dan Quayle faces the VFW convention in Chicago, saying no strings were pulled to get him into the Indiana National Guard in 1969. Reaction from the delegates last night who heard the speech is mixed. These men frown on the Quayle situation.
By going into the Guards is no different than going to Canada or anywhere else, in my opinion.
My people didn't have money to keep me from going to war. I went and served my country over there. I think he should have went too.
Earlier, Vice President Bush told the VFW the flap over Quayle's military resume is a shrill partisan attack. Bush is the benefactor, apparently, of the post-convention bounce situation. The GOP candidate, according to the New York Times CBS News poll, takes a narrow lead over Michael Dukakis. About half of those questioned say they do not believe Dan Quayle has the experience to be a good president. The Polish government orders troops to secure major plants, announcing extraordinary police measures in 3 provinces of Poland where strikes are going on. From the NBC Radio Network newsroom, I'm Gary Nunn.
The WNBC weather, partly sunny this morning, but clouding up then to high in the mid-70s, and rain is on the way tonight and tomorrow. At the moment, it is 61 degrees.
Before we get to Quayle, I've noticed since you started working out that you used to have a little kind of a jowl thing. You don't have that anymore. You have a very chiseled face, very attractive. That's what I'd point that out. Because I sit right to the left of Charles, kind of... not directly to the left, but sort of kind of the left front right. And you just notice you don't have that jolly thing you used to have underneath your chin there. You look very attractive, very masculine. What's the matter?
What? 2 things.
Yeah.
What jowl thing? What are you talking about?
You used to have some little loose skin underneath but you don't have it anymore. It's not there. It's gone.
Second matter.
Yeah.
Why do you continue to look at me in this perspective?
Well, I've worked with you for 15, 16 years.
Quit looking at me.
Well,
stop it.
Well, I have to.
Stop looking at me.
Well, what am I supposed to look at?
Look at Greg. Don't look at me.
Greg hasn't been working out.
Quit looking at my chiseled features.
Fine.
And
it's coming up on 5 after 6 time this morning. All right, the Manchurian candidate, as we like to call him, Dan Quayle.
Just stop looking at me.
Fine. Lupica calls me last night and says, turn on CNN, turn on CNN. So I did. And there he is speaking live at the VFW convention in Chicago. And here's the deal with Dan Quayle. Nobody's going to be happy until he stands up and says the following. I went into the National Guard because I didn't want to go to Vietnam and get killed. And that's the reason he went into the National Guard. And until he says that, no one, including me, is going to be happy. His brother went in the Marine Corps. His father was in the Marine Corps. Then he went into the National Guard. He went into the National Guard because he wanted to go to law school. Of course, he had a 2.4 grade average and couldn't get into law school until we don't know how that happened, but he went to talk to the Dean of Admissions, which I'm sure a lot of you who've gone to college found out that works real well. Just go talk to the Dean, and the Dean goes down and gets that new sob, and you're in law school.
You're suggesting that.